People in the valley used to laugh at him, not because he was cruel, not because he was strange, but because, to them, he looked useless. While others rushed through life like they were being chased, he moved slowly. While others argued, he listened. While others fought the world, he seemed to let the world pass through him. His name was Shen, and the villagers called him the man who did nothing.
Have you ever announced a big dream out loud and felt the rush hit your chest like you already won? People clap, they smile, they call you brave, and for one night you sleep like a hero. Then morning comes. The tools feel heavier, the work feels slower, and the fire you had in your mouth is gone from your hands. In a misty riverside village, there lived a young man named Wei. He had bright plans, a water wheel, a book, a sword. Each week, a new future. Each week, the same ending. Applause first, silence later. Wei stood on a crate in the market like a man who had already won. Lanterns swayed above him. Steam rose from noodle pots. The air smelled of wine, wet wood, and loud opinions. "I will build a water wheel," Wei said. "No more carrying buckets. The river will lift the work for us." For a breath, the whole place held still. Then the village erupted. Hands clapped. Cups hit tables. Someone shouted his name like it was already carved into stone. Han pushed through the crowd, face proud in the way leaders get when a plan appears without them paying for it. "Good ambition," Han said. "Finally." Wei's chest warmed, not from the wine, from the feeling, that sweet, clean feeling of being seen. He bought a drink he didn't need. He laughed louder than he meant to. He went home with his head full of a future that felt finished. That night, he slept like a hero. In the morning, the hero met wood. A pile of planks leaned against his wall, a coil of rope, a dull saw, a mallet with a split handle. The sunlight was honest. It didn't clap. Wei picked up the saw. It felt heavier than it should, not because the saw was heavy, because the room was quiet. He set a plank on 2 stones. He made one cut. The blade rasped. Dust rose. His arm tightened. He made a second cut. The plank didn't care about his dream. It only cared about his hand. A third cut. He stopped. The work suddenly looked long, long as winter, long as a life. Wei stared at the wood like it had betrayed him. Inside his chest, something small and ugly whispered. Last night was already the victory, so why does this feel like punishment? He put the saw down, not gently. He told himself he would think first. He walked to the river. Mist lay on the water. Reeds bent and rose. The current moved without asking permission. Shen was there as always, sitting on the stones like a shadow that never rushed. Wei didn't greet him. He sat hard and stared at the river like it was responsible. Shen watched a leaf spin once in a slow eddy, then drift on. Wei spoke with the shame of a man confessing a weak crime. "I can see it," he said. "I can explain it. I can sell it. But when it's time to do it, my body turns into mud." Shen didn't answer. A fish broke the surface. A ring widened. Then nothing. Wei tried again, faster, like speed could fix a hollow heart. "It's not just the wheel," he said. "Last week I said I'd write a history of the valley. People smiled. I wrote 1 page, then I stopped." He swallowed. "Before that, I said I'd learn the sword. People cheered. I swung once, then my arms went cold." He looked down at his hands as if they belonged to someone else. "I keep climbing onto the crate. I keep feeling the sky. Then I go home and I can't lift a single board."
Shen poured tea into a small clay cup. Thin steam. No celebration. Wei stared at the steam rising and vanishing. Shen finally spoke. "You eat the fruit," he said, "before you plant the tree." Wei's jaw tightened. "That makes no sense." Shen stood. He walked a few paces along the bank where the mud was darker. He knelt and scraped aside damp soil. Under it, he found 2 seeds in a folded cloth. Dry, hard, nothing to admire. He placed 1 seed in Wei's palm. "Bury this," Shen said. "Tell no one." Then Shen took the 2nd seed. He didn't bury it. He climbed onto a flat, sun-warmed rock near the path. He placed the seed on top like a tiny offering. Then he turned his head and called out, not loudly, but enough for children to hear. A few children ran over, curious. Shen held up his empty hands. "Look," he said, "a great tree will grow here." The children clapped, not because they understood, because clapping is easy. Wei stared. "Uncle," he said, careful, "that seed will die." Shen didn't disagree. He only watched the seed sitting naked on the stone. Wind passed. The seed did not move. Shen looked back at Wei. "Now," he said, "do your task." Wei walked to the soft bank. He dug a small hole with his fingers. He placed the seed inside. He covered it like he was hiding a coin. No one clapped. No one watched. The river kept going. Days passed. The seed on the rock sat in the sun like a promise left in the street. At first, nothing touched it. Then a bird landed. Its head tilted. It pecked once. Not cruel, just curious. The seed jumped. Another peck. Another. The bird took it. The rock became clean again, as if the promise had never existed. In the mud, the buried seed did not look heroic. It was blind. It was cold. It was pressed by dirt from all sides. But something in it broke. Not loudly, not for an audience. A crack, a quiet surrender. A pale thread pushed downward. A second thread pushed up.
One morning, Wei came to the river and found a small green hook rising from the soil. It was ugly. It was small. It was real. Wei crouched over it like a man looking at proof. He found Shen watching the water. Wei held his palm near the sprout, not touching. "The rock seed is gone," he said. Shen nodded once. Wei's voice lowered. "But this one, it lived." Shen's eyes stayed calm. "A seed needs darkness," Shen said, "to crack open." Wei waited, hungry for the reason. Shen gave it without dressing it like a lecture. "When you talk," Shen said, "you harvest first." Wei frowned. Shen continued, "The applause is sugar. You eat it. So you are not hungry for the work." Wei looked away, embarrassed. He could feel the truth in his mouth like bitterness. Shen pointed with his chin at the sprout. "This one," he said, "received no praise, no eyes, no noise, only pressure, only time." Wei swallowed. "So I should never speak?" he asked. Shen looked at the river. "Speak when it has roots," he said, "not when it is still a seed." That afternoon, they walked along the bank. A bridge plank near the narrow crossing had cracked. The wood sagged where many feet had stepped. Wei's old habit surged up like a reflex. Run to Han, stand on a crate, announce, collect sugar. He felt the words rising in his throat. "I will fix it." He bit his tongue. Not as a performance, as a restraint. That night, when lanterns dimmed and the village quieted, Wei returned alone. Moonlight made the river look like metal. He carried a plank. He carried rope. He carried a hammer that hurt his palm. No one saw him. He worked with his breath loud in his own ears. He pried the broken plank free. He wedged the new plank into place. He tied knots until his fingers cramped. The river below did not clap. The wind did not praise. The work was lonely. And because it was lonely, it demanded something he could not fake. When he finished, he stood there in the dark, shoulders shaking, not from pride, from effort. He went home without telling anyone. In the morning,
Han crossed the bridge on his way to inspect fields. His boot landed on the repaired plank. It did not groan. Han stopped. He looked down. He looked around. "Who fixed this?" he called, annoyed in the way leaders get when the world improves without their permission. Wei was nearby, carrying nothing, just watching the river. He didn't raise his hand. He didn't step forward. His mouth twitched once, not a grin, a quiet seal. Han waited, no answer. He huffed and walked on. Wei watched him go, then looked back at the water. He felt something new in his chest, not the bright heat of applause, something heavier, quieter, solid. Shen's voice came from behind him, low as a blade sliding back into its sheath. "Let the tree announce itself."